Like, ask yourself this. How do nails end up in the street? How? How do nails end up in the street? This is a brand new tire. This is a brand new tire. I just want y'all to understand what you're looking at. You know what I'm saying? Lil Brunson back at you with the back at you, and I am the best reporting on the Eagles. You hear what just happened? Greg Ward was just promoted from the practice squad to the active roster, possibly about to get some time on the field. Because if he just got promoted, it's not likely that Aguilar and Jeffries are going to play. Not like Aguilar does anything anyway. This is all about to make sense pretty soon. Being as though we got the worst receiving core in the game, period. Those are statistics. That's the facts. The Philadelphia Eagles have the worst receiving core in the game right now. Being as though that's the case, what blame do everybody want Carson Wentz to take for that? What blame do everybody want Carson Wentz to take for that? I did a little research. There's not nobody that I could find within the last 10 seasons who had the worst receiving core up until week 12 and only threw 4 interceptions. There's nobody I could find like that. Now it's a big thing going on around. It's a big thing going around right now, basically displaying that, you know, Dak Prescott got more flack than Carson Wentz when he was going through his struggles due to the lack of weapons around him. I don't think so. A lot of people want to say people want to make excuses for Carson Wentz. There's no excuse to make for it. It's the facts. The receiver core stinks. And yet he is still playing the game at a high level. See, when Dak Prescott receiving core was bad, Dak Prescott was throwing game-ending interceptions. Carson Wentz wasn't doing that this year. He's not doing that. In fact, Carson Wentz is throwing game-winning touchdown passes that are getting dropped. They're getting dropped. As bad as this receiver core is, he still has if you care about QBR, he's still got like a 91, something like that. As bad as this receiving core is. I also couldn't find no other quarterback who was last place in the receiving core within the last 10 years. I think it was one or two. Who had the dead last ranked receiving core and was still in contention for the division. It's hard to do it when people are dropping the ball. It's hard to do it if you've been placed in a position like Carson Wentz has been placed in. This is how bad it's gotten. Greg Ward, yes, Greg Ward will be on the field. Carson Wentz been throwing to nobodies practically his entire career and still managed to squeeze an MVP type season out of it and help this city get a Super Bowl. Yeah, he helped us get a Super Bowl. So to blame Carson Wentz for anything that's going on with this offense is just completely asinine to me, man. We already know what it boils down to. It boils down to the play calling. We know it boils down to the play design. We talked about this time and time again. The historical numbers don't add up to this being a Carson Wentz problem. It don't add up to it. So for all you Eagles fans that are upset that historically and statistically it ain't Carson Wentz's problem, you're just looking for somebody to blame. Blame the wide receivers. And this is a universal football rule. If the ball touch your hands, you're supposed to catch it. There's no way in the world that you can say that that's on the quarterback if the ball touch you. If the ball touch you, the ball was good enough. It was a well-thrown ball. It's on the quarterback if he overthrows or underthrows the route, causing it to be intercepted. They give the wide receivers way more leeway than they give the quarterbacks nowadays. I'll tell you how. If a ball is tipped by the wide receiver into the hands of the defender, touched his hands, bounced off his hands, and the defender caught it, the quarterback gets that interception on his record, not the wide receiver. I've never seen, I'm waiting for the day for a Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver to come out his mouth and say, I'm not getting the ball enough. Nobody even want the ball, it looked like. You see what I'm saying? And these things, and it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. Our character will be tested in the offseason this year if they don't go out there and try to acquire a superstar wide receiver. Our character will be tested. You got to look at the GM. You got to look at these things. I can't fault him right now for not making no moves. I really can't fault him. I can't fault him because I'm going to tell you why. Because we were projected to have one of the top 3 receiving corps in the game this season. Had them dudes all stay healthy. Alshon, Deshaun Jackson, you know what I mean? Had them dudes stayed healthy, we were looking good. And I believe we would have been great had them dudes stayed healthy. But they didn't stay healthy. So we had to rely on the depth. You know what I'm saying? Arcega-Whiteside, what do you got? 3 catches this year? Greg Ward. And it gets worse. It gets worse for us, in my opinion. It gets worse for us, in my opinion, man. You know what I mean? I just feel like that with these dudes not being able to be trusted enough to even make the roster in the first place, you pull somebody off the practice squad thinking they're going to make a difference. No, he's just there to fill out a spot. I'm counting on a big game from Jordan Matthews and a big game from Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert. Alshon Jeffrey, if he play, could potentially have a big game. But like I said, if they don't look to get some of these running backs in space, if they don't look to get Miles Sanders matched up with a middle linebacker and use that to our advantage, you gotta question Mike Groh out the door. He ain't do it last week in a critical game against the Patriots. There was nobody that could be, no linebacker on that roster could go step for step with Miles Sanders. They just can't do it. So you got to draw something up to get Miles Sanders those opportunities. I don't get it. They drew it up for Darren Sproles a lot, didn't they? You know what I mean? It's just it's mind-boggling, man. You know, first I was thinking like, maybe Carson Wentz can do a little more in elevating the wide receivers. But how can you elevate people that are dropping the ball? What more do you want him to do? It's not an accuracy issue. Don't believe these reports by people writing up reports that, oh, the way the ball coming out his hand is the reason. What? Come on, man. We all got brains. We all from the era, most of us from the era going outside playing on concrete, 1, 2, 3 hole. If the dude that's quarterbacking got to go in the house, you could go get a wino off the corner to throw the ball. If it touch you, you can still catch it. We all got common sense. We're not going to read none of these reports no more telling us that a ball is bad after it still hits the wide receiver's hands. If it was Carson Wentz's fault, then you could blame it on turnovers and interceptions. 4 interceptions. He got 1 game. He hasn't thrown an interception since I don't even know when. I think the Cowboys game, the last time he threw an interception. Before that, it was the Atlanta Falcons game. You know what I'm saying? He only got 1 game this season with double-digit interceptions. That's the Atlanta Falcon game. And still, he threw the game-winning touchdown potentially. The game-winning touchdown. He still threw that ball. You know what I'm saying? Carson Wentz is that good, man. When you get the weapons around Carson Wentz, I want everybody to have that same energy. Because last time you put weapons around Carson Wentz, a Lombardi came to Philadelphia. That's proven. Let me know what you think in the comments.